All right, welcome everybody to the February 28th, 2024 town board meeting. We'll start the meeting with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Okay, we have no one signed for privilege of the floor at the town hall. Is there anyone in Zoom land? Okay, seeing no hands, I will proceed to begin the meeting, and I'll start with my supervisor's report. So just the other day, we received a negative declaration of environmental impact and a notice of complete application from the DEC for a proposal by Robinson Sand and Gravel for importation of aggregate from other permitted mining sites at their site in Brooktondale. And there's an opportunity for 30-day comment. It's in the correspondence folder over at the town hall. It's a big document, but there are a couple pages that show the site and the uses on the site that might be worth looking at. So that's something for us to pay attention to. But from what I read, it's not really a change in the extent of what's going on over there. So.
Does it, I mean, I'll go look at it, but does it discuss increase in the trucks going on the roads? No.
I don't think so, but you'll have to read it, so, yeah. Yeah, but that would be associated with the importation, you're saying, yeah, so.
Right.
Yep, so there is a comment period, so.
Okay, great. I'll go read it.
And then we got another notice that actually on February 1, I put out a town announcement about it. But I wanted to bring it to the meeting as well. So it's a notice of 90-day appeal period for the FEMA updated flood insurance rate maps that began February 1. So that's a 3-month appeal period. I posted the FEMA notice on the town website, and it's also did go out in town announcements if you didn't see that. But what I noticed about what they require for an appeal is actual engineering, or you need actual information it's not just an opinion-based thing. So you need to bring information that would bear on their analysis and change their conclusions for any particular site. Supervisor's notes. Tim? Yeah.
I just might add that in the announcement that you forwarded, there's a link to the map. And it's actually very easy to use. So you go to that link and you can type in your address.
Yep.
And the map will go immediately to your address. So
It's
you can
really
see the
impressive.
area.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a lot of fun to play around with too.
A lot of what?
Well,
Yeah,
if it's fun, put it in different places.
Great.
See what
Yeah.
it's like.
and I also linked to the county, Tompkins County site that has all the information on this process, so. Tim and I attended the annual Association of Towns meeting in New York City. And I attended sessions on budgeting, and there's a new financial report that Velvet and I will be working on mostly Velvet. There was a session on new state and federal wetlands protections. A session on emergency medical services, and then other notable session was challenges and opportunities of the New York State climate law. So it was fun session, and we heard at the breakfast on the second morning from Chuck Schumer and Tish James. So had a couple prominent speakers that were interesting.
Can I add something?
Definitely.
I also went to sessions on the courts and on highway. One of the things in the highway session, Bobby, that came up that they were pretty insistent upon is the requirement, which I don't think that we've done. Wait, I have to look it up. That every January we do a 284 agreement, which is a breakdown of what you plan to do for the year, but I don't think we did that.
We haven't done it this year yet.
Okay.
We've done years past.
Just thought I'd mention that because they brought it up. The other interesting thing, well, none of this is interesting, it's just in the session on the courts, which actually was pretty interesting. One thing that they emphasized as well is that when you do the annual audit for the court, one of the justices has to be present. Because the justices are responsible for the finances of the court. And I'll just note that when we did our audit, there was no justice present.
We did, yeah, so we'll have to amend that next year. Yep. So the next item, Bob might want to say something about, but we got notice that we did get DEC water quality improvement project grant for 2 culverts, one on Braley Hill and one on South Road that I know Bob's been working with Angel on, so that's great. You want to fill in anything there, Bob?
The Braley Hill culvert, I don't know if anybody's seen it. It's about a 19-foot drop off on one side. It's just eroded this huge hole. And then it started eating the road away, so we kind of put a temporary fix in there 2 years ago, which was, we actually took a whole bunch of tree stumps and kind of filled that hole in. Kind of on a temporary basis, and knowing that we were gonna try to get something in the future, so. That's one. The other one is South Road. Last spring, we were doing some pipe inspections. Again, that one has a pretty significant drop on one side, and we actually noticed that pipe was rotten, so it's rotten and clear under almost whole lane of the road, so pretty big undertaking there, so wasn't anything we really wanted to tackle, just in-house, so worked with soil and water on that, and Angel was able to kind of move some stuff, into Tioga County. There's a little bit of money that way, so actually worked out good.
That's great. So it sounds like you're working with soil and water.
Yeah, so we're with soil and water on some engineering, and we'll be moving forward on those here pretty quick.
Great,
Fantastic.
thanks. I've been reviewing the zoning law, as you all have too. And then I did want to reiterate, as I did last month and in the newsletter in, I think it was October, that we're seeking review board and planning board members. We have 1 review board seat and several planning board openings. And we'll also soon be appointing a 3-member zoning board of appeals. So if people are interested in those, they should let us know, contact the clerk with a letter of interest. You can read about the review board responsibilities and zoning board of appeals responsibilities in Articles 12 and 11 of the zoning law. So that's my report. Any follow-ups or questions? Yeah. Great, so, yeah, I do, recommend if you have an opportunity to go to the Association of Towns meetings, I always find that, I learn things that I, even outside of sessions that I just serendipitously talk to someone or whatever. So and that's actually on the agenda tonight, this NY class opportunity for investing town funds. So great. Okay. With that, I will move on and Jesse, do you have a report?
I do. I just wanted to let everyone know, the standing on tax collection. So I met my warrant with, for the town on February 8th. And that was a collection of, just over 2.2 million that was turned over to the town. I did, completed my county return file documents and submitted payment number 1 to Budget and Finance Office. And that was for $450,000. They'll be getting another check tomorrow. I'll be sending another check out for about 300,000. So we're doing good with collection. This morning, A Security and Lisa from our IT were in the office and completed installing the CCTV. So the cameras are up and operational in my office. The court couldn't meet today, so I talked to Diane yesterday and I was able to sit with Lisa and she wrote out instructions for me. So I'm gonna go over and meet with Diane sometime Monday or Tuesday next week when she's in and get the court set up. So that Diane can have it in her office. And lastly, just tomorrow is Chris's last day. She doesn't plan on returning next year, so I'm gonna be probably searching sometime in the near future to at least try to get some help set up for next tax season. That's my report.
Great, thank you. Good report. Any
Oh,
questions?
Sorry, I was just gonna add that Cliff also submitted his permit and inspection report, so I'm gonna start attaching the code reports to the minutes. So
Great.
that if anybody wants to see those, I'll have them scanned in at the bottom of the minutes.
It's a good idea.
Great.
Yeah.
And I know that Cliff met with county assessment last week or something. Anyway, they were talking, he was suggesting that we make a place on the website for his reports. So I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, so we used to, when we had active reports, there was a space on the codes, on the website on his page where the reports were scanned each month. And then of course we sort of had that little lapse. So at
Mhm.
least this way, since he submits them to me anyway, a copy can go in the minute binder for the record. And then maybe once we get the new website up and running, we can go back to having that available. But for now, I thought this way at least people could see it again.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
Rick, is he submitting this to you as well?
He has, and then I have forwarded the ones I've gotten. So,
I think it'd be a good idea if he sent it also to the board.
yeah. Great.
Then we, so we don't have to wait for the minutes. So we can have it as it comes in. I think it'd be a really good idea.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Jesse. Very good. So that suffices for the code officer report. And then I'll ask for any committee updates.
I have none.
None? Yeah, okay. That's just fine. Everybody good?
Good.
Okay. First item on the business part of the meeting is the discussion or approval of the trade-in on the loader, the 22 for a 24 model, and I'll open it up to Bob to summarize that.
If I can step back one step real quick, I'll give you just a few updates.
Okay.
Over the month, just because I won't be able to be here next for the.
For the agenda meeting.
So.
Okay.
That'd be great.
With that, on that next agenda meeting, I'll be in Albany, so I'm gonna go to Advocacy Day, I go every year. It's the 5th and 6th, and basically I'm going to lobby for more CHIPS money. We're looking at a $60 million statewide cut,
Yeah.
so, we'll do my part and see if I can get us a little bit more, so. We took delivery of the new 1 ton that we ordered, last year, picked that up last week. And last Friday, just as a heads up, we finally got a VIN number for a 10-wheeler that we ordered 2 years ago. So with that said, it may show up before the end of the year, but it's not likely. It's likely it'll be after the first of the year. But just a heads up on that. I think down the road, we'll have to talk about, financing it and all that, which way we want to go, so. But we've got plenty of time to go over that, so. And the other thing is we started, I guess call it phase 1 of the building project, so if you guys are out and about, swing down. Gotten quite a bit done in the last 3 days, so you want to take a look.
So you taking down the Ponce?
No, the other one, putting those
Oh, the other
additions
one.
down first, so that we have a place to
Right,
take
so that makes
all that
sense, yeah.
material and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but that's just kind of an update of kind of what's been going on.
Were we, so just, was Labella going to also consult with you on that regarding,
On the Kwanzaa,
on the addition to the other one regarding,
Yeah, I thought so, because I
The
thought you wanted to
extent
check with
of-
the code and the foundation.
not so much on that building. We had to have some more discussions on extending the current big building out.
I thought they were worried about confirming that the addition, I thought they were worried about confirming the addition on, I guess it would be the east side, the Down Creek side, wouldn't encroach upon the requirements for the gas and that,
Oh, okay.
I mean, my recollection of the meeting is they
Yeah,
wanted to
there's
check
no-
into that.
There is no. There's no gas down there.
Well, but where the fuel.
I think no fuel tank,
The
yeah.
fueling station, sorry.
Yeah, they mentioned a 25-foot space between building and fuel pumps, so,
Okay.
which we actually have, because
Okay.
one of those tanks is coming out, so. We have that, and, in the end, all that stuff's gonna get kind of raised and moved around a little bit. To kind of make the whole site kind of come together in the end, so.
I'm
there's-
sorry,
there's
what's getting raised and moved around a little bit?
The fuel station
The fuel
itself,
station itself.
which is nothing more than a concrete pad, two
Okay.
fuel tanks, so.
But that will be done in consultation with Labella.
What's that?
Anything regarding changing the fuel station will be done in consultation with Labella.
I mean, if we were to move it into a different spot, but we're just talking about raising it this high, so.
Like a razor.
Put a riser or put a, kind of raise that tank and put a new pad underneath it, so.
You said you were getting rid of a tank? Is there-
One of the tanks, we don't use gas,
Oh, okay.
so we have a gas tank that,
Mhm.
the reason for going away from that was we were down to one gas vehicle.
Mhm.
We were buying, 1,500 gallons at a time, and it was going bad before we could use it up, so.
Hmm. Okay.
Now we don't have any gasoline trucks. The only one that does is the Brookendale Fire Station has one gas pickup. And once this gas is gone, they're just gonna get a gas card and just go to the gas station. So that tank is just gonna get taken right out of service. There's no sense of leaving it there. And again, those are above ground tanks, so they're.
But I think, I think I'd recommend waiting for Labella to come back to us with their recommendations before doing any of that kind of work. Just so that we're all on the same
The
page.
fuel tank stuff is kind of last on the list, but, like I said, doing.
Bobby, do you have somebody at Labella you can just call and
Yeah,
connect?
we have plenty of contacts through there, so. Yeah, that was the big question, was having that 25-foot buffer, which there's more than 25 feet, so. So to move on to the loader,
Just before I just mentioned, Bob and I talked today about providing Labella a marked up or revised functional program that looks at,
for the current building, kind
yeah,
of.
the current building and what the needs would be. So we're good.
Office space,
Right, that's good.
Okay, yep, sorry.
So go back onto the loader, we started out on a rotation program every year of swapping the loader in. It worked fine the first year. Last year, the numbers I got were pretty steep. So ultimately, we just decided to keep it. There's no sense in paying that ridiculous number for the 1 year. We'll just keep it and see what happens on year number 2. So the number for year number 1 come out to basically 29,000 for 1 year. So I thought that was great. So kept it for a year. Back to the first quote was from 6/29 of 23. So I kind of went back to playing the game in January of 24. Went through this whole process again, got a quote, knowing that we'd be trading in a 2-year-old vehicle, and got a quote for $50,598. So I said, this isn't much better than the first one, so, I just said that we were gonna hold off. Meanwhile, they call and call and call, and they wanna make a deal, they wanna make a deal, they wanna make a deal, so. I let it slide and I kind of let them chew on it for a while. And then, February 13th, talked to them again and asked them if their numbers were any better, so they came back out, took some more pictures. And they come back and they give me a number of like $41,000, so it dropped shy of $10,000 no matter the month, so. With that, there was gonna be, and I'd known this from before the beginning of the year, that on 215, there was gonna be a price increase for the new loader platform, so that was gonna be a $14,000 increase, so I knew that going into it, so. Of course, I wanted to beat them up as much as I could before the 14th to try to get this price. So they swore they couldn't do any better than the 41,000. So I guess I'm just stubborn and hard-headed. I thought I could do better than 41. So I told him that he had to do something better. So he ultimately goes to the district manager, called me back an hour and a half later, and gives me the district manager gives me the final number, which I've gotten down to 39,948. So that's as far as I can beat them up. I can't get them down any lower. But with that, I did have to sign a letter of intent pending approvals for this meeting, and that was just to save us on that $14,000 increase. So if I didn't send that in, it was an automatic 14,000 tacked on top of this price. So, so that's kind of that. Our loader now is 2 years old. One of the big reasons we're trading that out every year was warranty. We had an issue under warranty that involved a coolant leak. Had that looked at twice. Nobody could ever figure it out. And then all of a sudden it just stopped leaking antifreeze, so everybody said it's fixed. Well, it's not fixed, it's gonna show up soon. Well, it shows up when it's out of me. So I had him come out and look at it. An older guy comes out, he was there for about 15 minutes and the bill was $900. He did fix it. He knows something that I guess somebody else knows and knows where to find this leak, but he fixed it, but it was a $900 bill, just to show you that it isn't gonna take long to eat up in repair bills, you know, on that loader. So doing this puts us back into the warranty again.
For a year?
It is for a year. It's a bumper to bumper for a year, so, the other thing is that we are due for services on that now, which will be about $2,000, so if we were to get rid of it, now's the time to do it rather than soak another, you know, $2,000 for nothing that we're gonna trade in. You know, if we traded it in a few months or something, it would be kind of a waste of money, so, I'm good with the number, I'm good with having this back on warranty. And it's actually been nice, and I think it's saved us, you know, some money in repair bills, so. I haven't touched this loader since we bought it, I put fuel in it and I run a grease in it, so. I don't wanna say that too loud, anybody that's hearing we're trading it in, but, realistically. Rotate them in, which is what we try to do on everything else, is to keep things rotated in, so that. It's cut down on repair costs, so. I don't know if anybody else has any questions or about the loader or the old one or the new one.
Yeah, so that's coming out to like over 2 years, like 20,000 a year.
Yeah, I figured out it's.
Something like that, or just under 20,
We paid 18 originally the first time.
right? So that's,
I mean, I guess to put a little bit of light on it. The price of 10 wheelers just went up $70,000 in 1 year. So, I mean, prices are just crazy that they keep saying that, you know, hoping that they go down, but honestly, nothing is going down, everything just seems to keep going up, so.
so do you, like, I know when we first talked about the loader program, you were thinking, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but 10 or 12,000 a year or
We're
something.
looking in that, between that 12,000 and, you know, a little over that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess, yeah. Might be worth, you know. Watching over time, we have this 2 years of data on what it's costing and. Comparing that to historical
Yeah, I mean, so
repair bills.
right now, realistically, it costs us $1,000 to keep it the 1 extra year. Cause our first year was like 18 something, now we're up to 19 something, so. It makes more sense to trade it in every 2 years rather than, or I mean, according to these numbers, it makes more sense to do it every 2 years than every year, so.
Yeah, last year, it was gonna be 30,000 or something, right? Was that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, the first initial time we traded in, so it wasn't.
Oh, I
Next
see.
year was the year before, that was
Okay.
18, then it went from 18 to 30, so.
Yeah,
It's just playing that big numbers game and.
yeah, I'm just,
playing one person against another person to try to get.
Right. I guess for our process, I'm just thinking, you know, like it. Crunch the numbers and look like, okay, like, how long would we keep a loader normally? Like the other loader you have has been around forever, right?
There's a reason, there isn't one computer, there isn't one anything in that loader. This new loader is nothing but one big computer. There's a monitor in there that shows you all 4 sides of that, so that if you back up, you can see somebody on all 4 sides. Our old loader has absolutely none of that. There is no, hardly any electronics in that.
So you expect higher repair costs with the newer models because of that?
I mean, it's a computer, so.
Yeah.
You throw that laptop in your trunk, drive over Shindane. 2 years, that's what you got at the end of it, so. It's. If I can go back in time and they build them like they built them 40 years ago, it'd be great. We might get some weather stripping.
What is that?
It's blowing through the windows.
Oh, is it really? Thought the radiators were doing something.
No, it's the wind.
Okay. Any other questions for Bob?
No,
I think we should approve it, yeah. So with that, I'll offer a resolution to approve the trade-in, is that what you call it? The trade-in of the 2022 loader for a 2024 model.
second.
Seconded by Tim. Any further questions or call for a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, unanimous.
Cal vote.
Oh, yeah. His hand is up.
Okay. Thanks for horse trading.
So I don't mean to sneak out, but I actually have, I went to another meeting, so.
It's fine.
have to
Great.
do that one.
Good. Well, thanks for filling us in.
All righty. Thank you.
Don't blow away.
So,
Don't blow away.
no, I'll try. It's gonna be a short night, I'm sure.
Yeah.
2 o'clock's gonna come pretty quick.
All right, so I'll move on to the discussion of the zoning law changes. So, and so I sent the amended list out late. I apologize, it was so late, but I'm scrambling today. So this is a combination of responses to things we heard at the public hearing and other things that we've identified from further review and feedback from our planner. So just little tweaks. So I guess, should I just go sequentially through this list and?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is in the definitions, the agricultural cultural data statement should reference section 305A instead of B of the Ag and Markets Law. So Nan pointed that out, so I think everybody's probably good with that one, right?
Yeah.
Grab a pen.
Yeah.
The next one is this is feedback from Cliff, code officer, because this original definition included reference to short-term rental, which is a different thing than a bed and breakfast. So I just amended the definition. So an owner occupied one family dwelling used for providing overnight accommodations and a morning meal to transients for compensation for not more than, I changed this number. I put 15 lodgers and containing no more than 5 bedrooms for such lodgers. So the 5 bedrooms that's part of how they're defined.
Why did you change the number?
I changed, if you remember, we got a request to,
We received feedback from a bed and breakfast owner
Okay,
that in practice, sometimes they'll have families come and they put extra cots in for children.
okay.
So they have 5 rooms, but sometimes they'll have as many as
Yeah,
12,
so they have like a
15
bed
lodgers.
and then a sofa that can
I
open
get it.
on,
Yeah.
like bring in
I get
a
it.
cot or a
So that
crib.
seemed reasonable.
Right,
so I came up with 15 on my own, just
Yeah.
thinking.
well, that's like 3 per
Yeah,
room on
per room.
average.
Yeah,
which generally isn't likely to happen.
Right,
Right.
so, yeah, so. Does that seem agreeable to everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
And is Cal?
Yep.
Good,
Okay.
good.
Hey,
Thanks,
speak.
Cal. At the suggestion that we received, I did separate to avoid confusion, the cemetery for humans defined a little bit altered from previous to say proposed property used for human interment. And then I added the pet cemetery definition.
So, would this be, would the pet cemetery definition be under Ps, or would this be cemetery, comma, pet?
Oh,
Good point.
I mean, I think it should probably be cemetery,
On
comma,
the
pet.
pet.
do you think so?
Yeah, because otherwise people won't know where to look for it. They'll think it's not,
Oh, I see.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you have to go find a pet.
Right.
This way you say cemetery.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't change what it is at
No,
all.
no,
It's just,
I'm just
no.
Okay.
saying.
I'll just
how
make
it's-
that
Good
note.
point.
How it's,
And I. As we have for cemeteries, for humans, I added P for all districts, or
seems fine.
suggested that.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Cal, does that all seem okay with you?
That seems fine with me.
Okay, great, thank you. There was a suggestion to add food trucks. I looked through the use table and I thought that it should be covered by food and beverage, which is P in all districts.
Yeah.
Or SPR in all districts.
Right, or pop-up businesses,
Sorry?
pop-up businesses also.
Also,
I looked it up.
Okay.
Oh, does food trucks fall under pop-up
Well-
businesses?
To me, they did, but, so either one is like located.
Yeah.
Let me look up pop-up. Pop-up business, retail spaces that are temporary, open for a short period of time and may or may not be inside an existing structure. They include but are not limited to booths or stands at festivals or events and may use wagons, tents, tables, or similar.
Yeah, that sounds pretty close. Yeah, I think it could be that, could be either one.
Right, so I don't think we need,
So pop-up business, how is that, in the use table?
you,
Is it permitted across the,
yeah. That was
it's
for me.
P in all districts?
Yeah.
Okay,
No. So either way, it's just a matter
okay,
yep. I had this note in my notebook for dwelling unit to strike that clause as defined in the building code of New York State, section 310.2. We hadn't done it. So. I wonder, is that familiar to anyone?
my recollection is that was done for simplicity, but now they can't say.
Well, yeah, it is. It has been done, right?
It was done,
Yeah,
been
because I
done.
can't, I just did a search and there's no
310.
Oh, this,
So- yeah.
it's not finding it.
So, yeah, so dwelling unit, a single residential unit, doesn't say anything about per,
that clause is not in your copy.
right,
Right,
Uh-oh,
right.
right.
thank you. So scratch that one. We don't need a change there.
Yep.
That means this page. I don't know, I'll have to look at that. Revised floodplain, this, so I just revised floodplain. Any land area susceptible of being inundated by water from any sources defined in the flood damage prevention local law. Local law 1 of 2020. That is incredible.
The windows say okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like my
Or
dog.
not, you know,
Or-
yeah.
Um,
That's fine.
Seems fine.
okay, great. I've got a check mark there. Is that okay with you, Cal?
Yeah,
Floodplain?
yeah.
Okay, thanks. So now I think this brings us to discussion of laundry retail and simultaneously maybe car washes.
Yeah,
So there's different proposals out there and I understand the concerns, so I will open the discussion. I just, yeah,
So we don't have laundry currently.
right.
We have car washes, which personally, I've always thought is incompatible with the Donna Caroline. We don't have public water. And we have very proximate areas to the water supply, the creeks. So my personal feeling is, and laundry for me, laundromat for me falls within the same
Water use.
concerns of water
Yeah.
use and pollution without public water and public water treatment. So I'm proposing that we not have either.
I guess I kind of,
But we might want to do it one at a time. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel the same way as Tim. I was never really in favor of car washes. And it's not so much, it's not completely the usage, it's the disposal
Mhm.
of the
Of the water.
water,
Yeah.
of the used water and everything, I've tried to look it up. And I mean, you have to, consider the source. A lot of these are from car washes or for, but everything seems to say that you need to have, public sewer
Hmm.
for disposing the water. I found one for laundromats that said, that it has to go into a holding tank, 1,000-gallon holding tank. Like it can't just go right into the septic. It has to go into a holding tank first before it goes into the septic.
Mhm. But it could do that,
It
right?
could do that. So I just don't know how, I guess when I thought about it though, it's like, I wondered how many questions the review board is gonna be willing to ask somebody that's coming up. Asking to do it, are they gonna ask, have you done a hydrological survey? Can they require that? And I didn't really see where they had to do that. Really see where they have to require hydrological survey.
Mhm.
And it just doesn't seem like it's worth the effort. It's not, I just don't, I kind of feel like if laundromats were a big, and by the way, from what I looked up, you're supposed to call them laundry facilities because laundromat was a copyrighted term or something.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
that's
be
why-
careful.
No, I mean, that's why I changed it to laundry facility,
Yeah.
not laundromats, because but it seems like, if it was so easy or people wanted it, we would have had one already. I just think a lot of this discussion is theoretical. I don't think anybody has plans for it. I don't think anybody wants to. It's more like, well, why can't we, why
If
can't
we had one, it would be nice or something.
I guess, but the other thing is, they must not be very viable because they all seem to be going out of business.
They, over COVID, the one on East Hill went out of business and, my washing machine broke, so I was
Yeah.
hunting around.
No, that went out of business, and then even up in New Hampshire, like all the ones I used to use they've gone out of business, and I'm just not sure.
Well, one question is, I mean, right now, like in Boiseville, you've got 4 cottages per septic, so you've got 4 washing machines per septic, and like that's, or one of the barns that have been made into apartments where they share long, 4 or 5, machines. I'm kind of, I mean, I guess there's a difference between that and then like 20 machines, right? Just. And the amount of water use, I was also like, is it a top loader that uses lots of water?
Yeah.
Or is it one of the front loaders that doesn't use much water? So I would think that would be a big difference. And then this might seem really off base, but the laundry retail, it's really different for someone like providing laundry services to the general public, like
Mhm.
Cornell Laundry downtown used to, right? Or, and diaper service and things like that. Or my grandmother, took in laundry to make ends meet. But that would be a home business, I guess.
That's a home
Yeah,
business
it would be a
anyway.
home business, okay. I'm surprised about to go back to the car washes real quick. I remember we're talking about the, washing the trucks, for the highway barns. It was this huge thing about washing facilities and what to do with the water and all that wastewater.
Right.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, I would think that would be a concern with a car wash as well.
Right. It is, and so to me, I guess I feel like if somebody wanted either one, they're really convinced they want to do that. And they can present a plan for how they're gonna deal with the wastewater and, like even having enough water, and it's really distracting, even having enough water for use, I mean, most of these places are gonna be on a small lot. They're gonna be in a populated area, because people aren't gonna drive out to the country to get the car washed, or
Right,
dirty by
right,
the
right.
time they got back, so, they're not gonna drive out. I don't think this is just do their laundry, where, you know, you have the opportunity to say, well, I can always drill another well, or whatever, you can't do, it's gonna be a limited space. Anyway, if somebody really wants to do it, they can ask for a variance.
Yeah.
They can present all the information, they can say.
They
this
can
is
make
where
the
we're gonna-"
case.
Yes, and they can ask for variance, and so I think that's,
Okay,
that's my take on it, I think we should just eliminate them both.
My
Yeah.
take on it, my take on it is that don't make it as difficult as have to ask for a variance, but just, you know, let's not make it prohibited if somebody wants to pursue that enterprise. It's my understanding in terms of wastewater. I haven't had a chance to double check this with the health department, but you have to do catch and carry on a car wash. I'm not sure about a laundromat. There's a small laundromat in Richford. They have 2 double loaders, front double loaders and 2 dryers. They just run it into a regular septic system, but those are also, I guess, maybe Tioga County Health Department rules. I think that there are certainly areas within the town where it wouldn't tolerate the groundwater withdrawal. I mean, along Beesmer Road, anytime a house has been built that I know of over the last quite a few years, the people that are there, you know, says it really disrupts their water supply. So, I mean, there's areas of the town where I think it shouldn't be, but I think if some entrepreneurial individual wants to, and I think there should maybe be a size limit on it, on them, you know, they can't come in and build. And there's no reason to expect that they would, but I would put some sort of size limit on it, and just ask, you know, that all the required permitting, you know, a well permit, septic, you know, that. So that would be my counsel.
so you said the one in Richford is 2 washers and 2 dryers?
Yes,
That's like somebody's house.
it's there in that little plaza.
Can I make a recommendation?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to me that the retail laundromat thing requires an awful lot more research and or reflection if we're going to think about sizes, placement, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I would recommend that we would put this on our list of things to consider in the next review of the zoning law, having had time to do ample consideration of this, because we're not going to be able to do it now within the next month. And I don't see the point of holding this up for that, but I think that we should in fact have a habit of, at this stage, of approaching this much like the zoning commission did when they were literally finishing up, which there were 2 or 3 items which they thought required more reflection, longer term thinking. And they sent that in their report to the town board that we continue to look at. So that's what I'd recommend that we do with the laundromat situation. You know, because if we were to try to follow Cal's recommendations, it's really, there's quite a lot of
A
work to do.
project.
Yeah.
And the car washes, I think, is a totally different thing. So,
I agree with that.
but I would recommend not including either of them
Mhm.
in this law, and then putting laundromats on our research to-do list.
I agree,
I'm okay with that. Is
I agree with that.
right?
that okay with you, Cal?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. And I agree that, I mean, laundromats make a lot more sense to me than car washes. If maybe right sized or whatever. It's fine. Okay, great, thank you. The next one, I proposed a revised, you know, sort of a, so we we authorized Nan to, some months ago, to revise our subdivision law to be compatible with the zoning law, and they have to work together. So I've had some discussions with Nan, and the way it works now is our subdivision law has certain subdivisions that are exempted, or they're exempted from review by the review board and the planning board. And that's where the code officer signs off on them. Interestingly, today I was talking to her and she said there was another town where, you know, they did something like that where the code officer was signing off on minor subdivisions. And the attorneys reached out and said, gee, butter, that's really doesn't work. It's not something the code officer is authorized to do. Because it's, you know, and one thing is that subdivision of parcels requires seeker review. That's not something the code officer can do or orchestrate. So, and so for the zoning law that we have before us, we're thinking about proposing, we've proposed a 3-acre average, which requires that, we have an understanding of what the original lots are and a good ability to keep track of subdivisions and the distribution of dwelling units. So I think it makes, so I just proposed this sort of potential definition that would just break divisions into minor subdivisions and major subdivisions. The line there being 5 lots or less, and the major subdivisions being 5 lots or more. And then another thing that's listed in our zoning law as an exempt subdivision is the lot line adjustment. So that is really conceptually and practically distinct from a property subdivision into additional parcels. That's like a correction of borders or an agreement between neighbors to adjust property lines. So that one is appropriate for being exempt from review and could be done by the code officer. So I think I propose that and the reason we at least, I would like us to kind of, if you feel you have enough knowledge to do it, we need to give Nan an idea of where we go with this. Because it's different than what we do now, where the code officer just signs off on the plats for the things we've called exempt subdivisions. And major subdivisions go to the review board. The other thing, when I was talking to Nan, is how to address the process of segmentation, where things are done gradually over time, so that the process is basically subverted because things are done sequentially over time. So one solution to that for this would be to thing we could do is say when you get up to 5 or whatever subdivisions, then the ones beyond that become conservation subdivisions. But I don't know, that's a suggestion or a possibility. So at any rate, she also said if we're not comfortable with that, we can,
What are you proposing, Mark?
I'm proposing that we just divide subdivisions into minor and major based on some cutoff, and that all subdivision reviews, except for lot line adjustments, go to the review board. Is that okay?
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay,
That makes sense to me.
yeah, that's fine. So in terms of the definition, then, do we keep in subdivision types or take all of that out?
Yeah, these rural land division and all that stuff.
those would come out.
Okay,
Okay,
I think this is a good idea.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this will also give Nan guidance in her revision of the subdivision law, which she's doing right now.
Yep.
Okay.
So what I
Sounds good.
told her today, she does have a, I think she'd call it a rough draft. That I told her, you know, I would see what you all thought. First of all, since Cal is in Zoom land. Cal, do you want to add anything in here, or do you have any feedback or ideas?
Just a question that the lot line adjustments would be between adjacent lot owners, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, just so it doesn't get any more complicated than that, I'm
Yeah.
fine with the line lot adjustments but no, it sounds, I mean, the idea too, that we'll be reviewing the zoning law as things go along, things that aren't working or things that need to be added or taken out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, okay, good. So that's, if everybody sort of is in agreement there, I will let Nan know that. So then she said, you know, I'll let her know that, then she'll work on it, and then I'll share the draft with you, and we can give her feedback on that.
For the subdivision law, but for
So,
this,
I'm sorry,
we're just talking about changing this definition.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't make that clear.
Yeah.
Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
I'm talking about the revision of the subdivision law.
Yeah. No, no, right, I was assuming. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Very good. So, from that, I will note the high points that I just described. Basically, the exemption is a lot line adjustment. And then I guess, I mean, we can think about it, but fairly soon we should decide, you know, do we want to put something in that addresses the last item I mentioned,
In the subdivision law.
in the subdivision law, the segmentation issue.
Right.
So there would be a threshold where, okay,
Right. But that we can pause and.
We can-
don't get
we can work on
distracted.
that. Okay,
We can work on that.
very good. Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, just want to not confuse this law with that law.
That's right. We're moving
Yeah,
on,
just
so,
So that nothing
go.
in one part will be overriding another.
that's right, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
And I actually asked that question of Nan, like, you know. She said, no, these have to work together. This is really important, so. Great, so thank you, everybody.
And Cal, she said that from the very, very beginning of the zoning commission's meetings. So this came up a number of times over the course of the zoning commission, where Nan would call attention to the fact that the subdivision law didn't correspond to
Yep.
recommendations being made in the zoning
Right.
law. So it
Right.
was always intended then
Mhm.
that the subdivision law would be revised to jive with the zoning law.
Right, right. Okay, great, thanks very much. Okay, moving on to section 3 districts.
Tim, for me, you just touched on something, so if
Yep.
there is any confusion or conflict, the zoning law will take precedence over anything that, see what I mean? If somebody comes in and says, well, this doesn't, what about this says here and this says there?
That's why Nan's revising the subdivision law, Cal.
Yep.
So that won't happen.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and you're saying, Cal, what if it does happen, right?
Exactly, thank you.
But we will, that's what I did ask her about that, and she said, you know, we need to work to make them work together, so,
We just need to make it happen. Okay.
yeah. And I'll ask her about that possibility. There may be some clause in there to say, to address your concern, so. So the next one under districts is, this is a big proposal, but it's one that I've thought of before and we have discussed, and it's been, anyway, I think that based on a number of things, which is one, the initial survey of the town by the planner and her GIS consultant, based on the nature of the area now. I think we should eliminate the Caroline hamlet and make it ag rural. So, but I'm open to discussion and it's, I understand that's a significant change in the zoning law, so.
I mean, I didn't used to have any opinion about this almost whatsoever. As I've been thinking about it. And a lot of this, we know the history of this, this happened at the recommendation of pretty much one citizen in the zoning commission, and took another look at that and revised it. One thing to consider is that one of the things that the Caroline hamlet provides is the opportunity for minor commercial development within that hamlet along the 79 corridor that ag rural simply wouldn't provide. And so, I mean, I think that that's something worth taking into consideration. It could be just a hypothetical, you know, I mean, currently it's a hypothetical. But that would be to me, the significant impact of that
Yeah.
change. Of course, it would also then concomitantly implement the 3-acre average on that hamlet, which doesn't currently exist.
Right.
So, but those are just things to take into consideration.
I do have thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
too, I have felt that it's not a hamlet ever since, well, ever since I was born. No, when this first came up, and when I'm looking at like, you know, goals of, you know, having pedestrian and bikeways in the hamlet, we're, you know, just looking through here, we are denser population centers such as the hamlets, you know, how we want to have that focus, that nodal idea of growth in a dense place, and I just don't see it existing there. And with 79 going through it, I don't see a dense population of people living there. I mean, if we wanted a commercial section, that's one thing, but that's different. But it's not. I just don't see it as a development where lots of people live now. Like, you know, the other 3 main hamlets. I'm talking Sladeville, Speedsville, and Brooktondale hamlets.
Do you think it's that much different than the West Sladeville? I mean, it does have a significant
Yeah.
residential population.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to interrupt you, Kate.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I mean, my feeling about the hamlets and because this is gonna come up as we continue our discussion on the other hamlets, Caroline Center and Speedsville. I mean, I'm one of the ones that pushed Caroline Center as a hamlet. And yes, there's not a big. So let's get back to Caroline. I want to get distracted. Yeah, it's not a big population area right now, but it is, you know, we're trying to spread out potential commercial growth throughout Caroline and not just have, you know, a lot of people just like to have a strip along 79. I think this is what makes sense, you know. But this has got to go somewhere, right? And so some commercial development, probably, I think so, yeah, a little bit. People keep saying, oh, I'd really love to have a laundromat.
Yeah.
Or, you know, wouldn't it be nice to have a coffee shop, or wouldn't it be nice to, you know, so.
But that's prime ag land. isn't it?
Well, so that's the other
And
issue.
that's something is that you've got those lots that are in hamlet and in.
That's
ag
the
land.
problem. So that's why, you know, in some ways for Caroline, the Hamlin Caroline, I'm a little bit on the fence because I'm not sure that dividing up these lots.
Right.
We don't want to do anything to compromise the prime farmland. And it might be just adding too much complexity to create this hamlet where there's nothing there anyway, right? Historically, I mean, the whole definition of a hamlet is there's like no legal definition of a hamlet. And, you know, there's a church there, so that counts. So, or a former church.
Well, there was a store right across the street.
Right,
It
so-
was definitely a
yeah,
historical
it's-
hamlet
right.
center.
Right. So, but you know, I just don't know if it's worth the things that we're going for in creating the hamlets of Speedsville and Caroline Center. I don't know if it's worth putting that on Caroline because of that issue of the prime farmlands and cutting across, you know, splitting
lots.
some of those lots in two. That,
That's concerned me.
yeah, that's an argument for eliminating that hamlet.
And that was a concern of the zoning commission all along,
Yes, I mean,
It's a
we
major
talked about this so much.
topic of discussion.
Yeah,
And I mean, honestly, I think that speaks to the issue here.
yeah,
It's-
so,
It's ag rural.
you know, I could go with eliminating that. It doesn't bother me.
Cal hasn't had a chance to speak yet, so.
I think it's a difficult
What do you think?
situation.
That was a deep concentration.
I mean, I don't have anything new to add to the discussion, sure.
Okay,
But Cal, what would your recommendation be?
That it's not a hamlet,
Okay,
you know, cut to the chase.
yeah.
okay,
So I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so-
okay. Okay, I'm gonna conclude that the board is unanimous in doing that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay, good.
thank you.
But
No, no,
No buts.
no, put 'em on.
Point of order.
okay, that's fair, Mark.
I'm just kidding, Cal.
We're joking,
What's your butt?
yeah.
Should I move on, Cal?
Yes,
Or-
yes,
Okay. Thank you. So section 4, uses and dimensions. I have bakery changed from not allowed to SPR in the ag rural.
very
I
much
agree with
so.
that. I agree
Yeah.
with that because I didn't realize that everything else is,
Right.
it's an outlier. I almost think it might have been a mistake.
Mhm, okay.
Wide Awake Bakery out in Newfield.
Yeah.
Sleepy time bakery. Okay, so great. This is my proposal, looking at the formula business designations. So now we've just eliminated the Caroline Hamlet District, but formula businesses are currently allowed in that 3 hamlet cell that includes Caroline Center and Speedsville. And I agree with feedback that it doesn't really seem appropriate for those two hamlets. So I would encourage us to put a X for formula businesses in that cell. Open to discussion.
Mhm. I guess I could go either, because I feel like if they follow the design standards, you know, and size limitations. then we're fine.
I feel they're out of scale with the
Yeah.
hamlet itself. If you can imagine, even following the design standards, it would take over a lot of space with, like, within those hamlets.
But you have to remember that there's square footage limitations.
Yeah.
And lot limitations have been delineated in different hamlets.
Bingo.
So I actually would feel fine about it because I think that the lot limit, that those limitations and the design standards will work to make whatever might come along, be compatible, be more compatible. I kind of would hate to. I mean, Speedsville is kind of a unique situation. It has had a traditional store that is struggling. It's on its own kind of peculiar
Route.
corridor with Newark Valley and Richford. I mean, I kind of feel like it would be fair to Speedsville to provide it with that opportunity were it to arise. Just given its location, its isolation, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
But that's just my own thinking.
No, I agree with that, but I mean, I think I was one of the ones that propose that, you know, those two hamlets get more development anyway. So.
The,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear Michelle's last sentence.
Oh,
but-
I'm sorry, I think I was one of the people, I may have been the person that was proposing, you know, that kind of development or more development for Speedsville and Caroline Center.
if someone opens a little store in Speedsville, for example, and then a Formula business then comes in and opens a store, that's gonna put the other store out of business very quickly.
Well, I don't think we can,
Well, I'm just saying but I also still think that
you
I don't know,
can't, you
with
can't, you can't.
adding a parking
We'll go
lot
to Cal next.
I'm sorry.
adding a parking lot. I just don't know where you'd fit it within those hamlets. I mean, you're just saying that the size lots would keep parking lot down and the size of the building down.
I think at the intersection of South, where Buffalo and South turns into South Road, at Old 76. There's a abandoned house right there. I could see one fitting there.
Cal, did you want to chime in?
In terms of being a formula business, I think their business model is they want to be on Route 79. They don't care about Old 76 Road, Speedsville, Caroline Center, Guideboard Corners, any, you know, they want traffic and maybe it'll come someday, but I don't think it's going to be in any of our lifetimes. So we could say whatever we want. We could give it to them tax-free and they aren't going to come. And, you know, just the square footage limits we got. I mean, it's just like it's like we're talking about what we're going to do with a nuclear power plant that's going to want to come to Brooktondale and, you know,
I
That's
agree.
great.
But I think we should zoning use table what we think is appropriate.
Yeah.
So. I'm hearing pretty divided opinions.
Yeah.
I'd put in that it's permitted.
You did, okay. I agree with Kate that it would be out of scale with the communities
Yeah,
there.
it would, but
Yep. Okay, so on that one, let's see, process question. So we've gone through, I think I have all check marks up till now.
Mhm.
Is everyone in agreement on that? So should I pull that one out or do you want to vote on it now and
I want to vote on it.
vote on
Yeah,
it now?
I mean, I've understood that we've been voting all along, like
Oh, okay.
I've been tallying votes on every.
Oh,
single
okay.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because we've had,
Yeah, I don't, yeah,
we've done a pause and said, is everybody in
Okay.
agreement? So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I think that's fine. So I will be more intentional about taking the votes, just so the clerk is happy and I'm clear about that. So,
Well, we could also distinguish Caroline Center and Speedsville if you want to.
Yeah, that's true too.
we could always, also what? I didn't catch that.
We could
Just-
consider them separately.
In other words, what might be appropriate for Speedsville may not be appropriate for Caroline Center.
That's correct.
So,
So that's a redesign of the use table, right?
yeah, maybe Doug's Fish Fry would want to come to Caroline Center.
What do you say?
maybe Doug's Fish Fry would want to come to Caroline Center.
No way, we
I-
don't want that happening.
I think since-
know.
I think since, we're gonna continually revise this, I think we should just make a decision. I think we
Yeah.
can take a vote, make a decision.
Oh, I agree, but
And,
I just heard that do we want to split these now?
No,
Okay, that's what I thought I heard,
Well,
so,
no, I was
no,
just.
you did hear it,
That's
but.
just being nice.
You didn't hear it, but pretend you didn't hear
okay,
it.
so I'm gonna call for a vote on, I propose that we eliminate formula business, not allow them in Caroline Center and Speedsville. All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
Wait, what was the vote?
this is the vote to eliminate formula businesses in Caroline Center and Speedsville.
Make an X there.
So
Oh.
I'm calling for is that what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
okay,
So-
no, it's just, anyway, go ahead.
All in favor of this proposal? Aye,
Aye.
opposed?
Me,
I'll say aye.
okay, I'm against it.
Okay.
And
I'm going-
Cal, are you a nay or a yay? You're a nay, right? I think I made it confusing.
To me, it makes no, it's not gonna happen. We can,
But I'm just trying to
Yeah,
beautify.
I know,
you
I'm sorry.
stating-
And I revert,
You
I
saying
revert
yes
the right
or
to change my
no?
mind every 30 seconds. So,
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
to
Formula
Formula
business,
Business in Speedsville and Caroline Center.
yes,
That's right.
correct.
And you say yes or no?
Yes.
Okay,
No, wait,
They're doing this on purpose.
Either way, I think your proposal, I think wins.
it carried, okay,
You carry.
Yeah.
okay.
I don't mind being a.
The vote's either 4-1 or 3-2.
Right, it's either way,
I'll say 4-1,
Okay.
all right,
Okay.
great, okay.
but I'm not gonna cave next time.
So what did you just decide about Caroline Center?
No formula businesses,
No formula
Right.
business.
Yeah, that's what we decided. For Caroline Center and Speedsville.
yes.
Offices, we received a suggestion to consider offices in, Bessemer and West Sladeville. This is my proposal, so I will responsibility for that, so I am putting forward
Oh,
consideration of with SPR offices in Bessemer and West Sladeville. Offices as defined in the,
Let's see what the definition is
so,
there.
and I can read it, let's see.
Oh, yeah, we can.
okay.
So office premises available for the transaction of general business, but excluding retail and manufacturing uses. It is a place of or establishment used for the organizational or administrative aspects of a trade or used in the conduct of a business and not involving the manufacture, storage, display, or direct retail sale of goods. So it's not a commercial place, it's actually an office.
It's an office building, though. Office building.
Yeah, which would be limited by the dimensional
Right.
requirements for the district. Yeah, it would be an office building.
So you changed it to SPR. Yeah.
I said SPR.
Yep, I think that makes sense.
I do too. I agree with
You're-
Kate.
Okay,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go against that.
you're gonna go against that?
Me too.
Okay, you're against that.
Yep. 3-2.
3-2.
It's 3-2, it carries, but I'm sorry, it's 3-2. So, but that's what it is, so 3 yes.
I mean, I went against it because I think that was pretty heavily considered by the zoning commission and then later by us, and we've already discussed this summer.
And
So I just.
Yeah,
Just
I just
say,
think an office building.
I haven't heard any arguments to, yeah, right.
It's not like.
So we'll just say 3-2.
It doesn't hurt my feelings.
Agree with it.
you're still good with your vote?
Yeah, I can't remember why we were against it, that's the thing, I'm like, can't think of any.
Well,
Especially,
the reason that it was recommended against had to do with density of use, traffic, putting kind of established in the middle of residential areas. That was the logic.
Yeah. Parking.
parking,
Coming and going.
yeah, you're right, okay, I'm changing.
But I will point out the comment received,
Yeah,
The which,
pointed out like, I think recreational facilities are allowed. Things like that, which would have those same elements, really. I mean,
outdoor recreational facilities.
right,
Yeah.
That's different than an office
building,
building.
I still think the town needs some commercial development. and, you know, the most logical place, the prime commercial land is right along 79. So I would support it for, if nothing else, in bumping up our tax base a little bit.
Okay.
But as I understand, then the vote has changed from 3 to 2 to 2 to 3.
It might have, so I'm gonna take the vote again because I don't really know. So, well, I think I know, but. You know, so. In favor of SPR for offices in Beesimer and West Laterville, so
Aye.
so. That's 2 yeses, it has changed. And noes? That's 3 noes, so. Tim, Kate, and Michelle.
I
Okay.
know I'm wishy-washy, but I'm siding with the zoning board's work on it. So they've considered it more than I have, and
Okay,
I'm taking their recommendation.
okay. So we made that decision. I'm gonna move on. So that's an X, okay. The next one is a result of a change in the definition of townhouses that we made from what the zoning commission had. So originally the zoning commission, and this was at Ernie's, you might remember this, that they were defined as 3 attached residential units
Yeah.
connected by a firewall. Then we looked up, the town board, I believe it was us, who looked up the definition and said a townhouse is 3 or more such attached units. So we made that change in the definition, and it's there in our definition.
Okay,
That means that, and townhouses currently are listed in the use table along with single and 2-family dwellings.
okay,
So that's a problem. So this proposal is to eliminate townhouses from the single and 2-family dwellings cell
okay,
and revise the 2 cells for multifamily dwellings to add townhouses of 4 units or less for that cell would be permitted in all districts, and townhouses of 5 units or less, the next cell, or more, excuse me,
mhm,
and all multifamily developments would be reviewed under site plan review in all districts.
yeah,
Yep,
So is
Okay.
that okay?
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's, Cal, you good with that one?
Yes.
Great, that's unanimous.
good.
The next
It
one
may-
is. Oh,
It may
yeah.
be a bit of, you said multifamily that are connected by a fireproof wall, aren't they separated by? I mean, it's just a question of what the proper
I
language.
understand. For a townhouse, my understanding is those are things that are connected, they're physically connected by a
Okay.
fireproof,
Okay,
and it's 3 or more. So it could be 1,000, I guess, but.
Well.
But yeah. The next one is sawmill
Yeah, I noticed that.
as part of a farm
Yeah.
operation. Yeah,
That
go
is
ahead, Michelle.
under, I
You
think
have
that
an
might have been an error, it's, is it under agricultural uses?
Yeah, it's somewhere early.
Sawmill is part of a farm operation. It's P and ag rural, it's ASPR everywhere except for Center Brookendale, which I think that must be an error.
Oh. I did notice that when I
Yeah.
made the change. Yep,
So I think it should just be ASCR,
yep,
Yep,
there should be whatever the others are.
yeah.
Do we
Okay,
have farms in Brookhaven?
It
We've done
doesn't really
mills,
matter.
we've done sawmills.
Yeah, I mean, it
Like
doesn't, it just doesn't, it doesn't matter, I mean, it just should be consistent, I think.
Yeah,
for-
that's
yeah.
fine.
No, I don't think there's, I mean, I don't think it's gonna come up, but
if it's part of a farm operation,
Right. it
does
can't be-
that fall under the zoning law?
um,
I mean, can we
Should it
have can we have ASPR for a farm operation? I don't
no,
think
that's a
so.
good point. So would it just be P then, or?
Yeah,
All right, maybe it has
I
to
would
be
think
P.
so.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think that we can regulate farm operations.
I actually was wondering that after I
Mhm.
made that correction. So yeah, that should probably be P all the way across.
I mean, you wonder why we even need to have it in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right, right.
but I mean, if we don't have it on, somebody would say, well, so, you know,
There it is. I finally found it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to find this.
it's after greenhouse, so it's in the agricultural related.
It's on
uses,
the third page. On the
It's on
third
page
page of the use
40.
table.
Or page 42 in the newest version.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Jesus, like hidden.
farm stand, farm worker housing, food processing
Yeah.
on farm, greenhouse,
I
sawmill.
just don't need it. I just don't think we need it in there. I mean, in the sense that we don't say, wine press as part of,
Yeah,
as part
well,
of a farm operation.
either take it out or make it P, I think is.
I think, yeah, we could just make it P, well, we've got greenhouse and
Yeah,
farm stand.
let's just make it P across.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
all the way
Yep.
across. Yeah,
Yep,
Are you okay with that, Cal?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the interest of simplicity, I'd maybe just take it out, but it doesn't really matter to me one way or the other.
Okay. Anybody else? Just leave
I
it.
don't know, I would, at this point. Maybe just leave it with P, just
Yeah.
because people keep coming up and saying, well, what about this, you know? and-
All right, we'll leave it for now. We resolved the next one, so never mind about that. So let's see, see that one. That was unanimous. Next two are gone. Oh, this one, So this is,
cold in here.
Yeah,
That's that wind.
Yeah,
this is related to.
we need to fix this building fast.
Can you hear the groaning, Cal?
Excuse me?
Hear the groaning, the wind is groaning through the windows and making noise.
It sounds like a chainsaw or something.
I guess we got enough of our own groanings out here that I can't.
Here we go. I happen, okay, so,
what page?
oops, no, I'm wrong.
Oh,
That's
car
wrong.
wash. What are we
Revised.
looking for here?
I
wetlands.
forgot to put the section number where this was,
Wetland, you mean where wetland is?
the wetlands, yeah.
Okay.
The-
So we're taking car wash out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So section 6.5.11 is just gonna be. taken out. Okay.
Wetland must be in the water section mark, right?
for development standards.
Um,
Must be in section. Where's the water? It's not-
huh. All I have it, the only place I'm finding it is in the definition. Here, Mark, just in the definitions. The only place that's finding it.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. I think that is where it
I
is.
think that's
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that, thank
Yeah,
you. That's great. So that's in the definitions. Yep, okay, I'll put that in there. And
So delete including those wetland.
there were two thoughts. So, so Nan pointed it out that the wetlands regulations are changing and are not yet fully mapped and are in flux, and so she suggested removing that final clause, including those wetlands as are delineated and awaiting placement upon such maps.
So wait, why delete them? Why delete that phrase?
Because they may be obsolete in a little while as the changes with wetland rules and regulations go.
And I think it's also because some of the wetlands will not be
On the map.
mapped,
Okay,
Right.
will not
Right.
show up on the
Right,
map. They
because
have,
they're,
like what we learned at the conference is they're gonna be,
Vernal pools are gonna be wetlands.
right, and it's gonna be vernal pools, depending on the number of spotted salamander egg masses identified and
okay, all
wood
right,
frogs, and so it's.
Sure.
So then I propose just taking out the whole sentence.
yeah, that seems fine.
And if we take out the whole sentence, that leaves just one sentence,
Oh, wait, the whole sentence?
the
you
whole
mean the
sentence, not-
approximate boundaries?
I mean, starting at the approximate boundaries.
Okay,
And then that means titling the section jurisdictional wetlands. And take out and map.
oh, mapped, okay. So it'd just be jurisdictional wetlands and then the first sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's fine because it's not gonna be up to us anyway.
Right,
Yeah,
I think that's what we should do.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Great. Okay, thank you.
Cal, are you good with that?
Yes, very much
Okay.
so.
Okay, thank you.
By the
I
way,
think
if
you're,
anybody
I think
wants
you're
to be a
spot on, Tim.
anybody wants to be a biologist counting salamanders, there's gonna be a lot of work for you to do across New York State real soon.
oh, they're just gonna hire like 3 people for that. Okay,
Okay,
It will be something.
all right, section
Okay.
5.
Great. Section 5, development standards. Let's see.
5.1, point B.
Yep. Okay. So these, this was just a clarification, so. Yeah, and so I added the bolded language, the final clause.
Oh,
section B,
So except for multifamily dwellings or developments, comma, no more than one principal dwelling and associated accessory structures, if any, shall be permitted on each lot unless lot size is sufficient to meet all water and septic system requirements of the Tompkins County Division of Environmental Health required for any additional accessory structures.
okay,
Is that okay?
that makes sense.
Because,
Yeah, because if you put
Without
extra
that,
bedrooms,
you-
you have to have a bigger
Yep.
septic, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, well, can you have more than one principal
Yeah.
structure, or whatever, so.
yeah, okay.
So just trying to beat a dead horse there. And then
Well done.
in section 5.1E was about the natural resources inventory. I'm okay removing that reference there. I could go either way. And I did add it to, it's been on the website before. I don't know where it went. I put it back. And it is a useful resource that our climate smart communities folks helped us with. And it's referenced a couple other places in the zoning law, so.
Okay,
So do we want to take it out where it is there? We would take out. We would start the sentence with slopes 15 to 25%. I think that's okay.
I think that would simplify things.
I think it's fine without it.
yeah,
Yeah,
Great. So
Mark?
that- Yeah, Cal?
Do we want to spare Mike Brown listening to all this? I thought we were going to nominate him to something. I
Oh.
noticed
He
He's
is
in-
on,
he is
Sure.
on it, just, you know,
but he might be interested in listening to this, but I'd be happy to move. I'd be happy to move that resolution now, so.
I thought he was on because of his passion over the subject matter.
Yeah, it could be.
well,
So anyway, we got a unanimous on that, removing that language, right?
Yes.
So,
what did, there's a, no, something from. Oh. Something
oh,
from,
was there a chat?
maybe a chat, I guess,
Okay.
but I can't see it. Yeah,
I cannot read that up there. Read that.
He said he's very passionate.
Okay,
And then Catherine is asked, or Jaya are asking, can you please clarify how many residential units will be allowed on one lot in your current thinking? Um, So that's related to the change we just made, right? The language?
But anyway, are you gonna do the resolution about Mike or not?
Yeah.
Should we pause? We'll pause.
We'll
Yeah,
pause.
let's-
Okay, we'll pause and then I do want to answer that question,
Yeah.
so,
Okay,
okay, so. I'm sorry, I didn't have the chat up before, so I wasn't noticing these things.
But this isn't a public.
So with that, I will move a resolution to appoint Mike Brown as the Caroline Climate Smart Communities Task Force or Energy Independent Caroline Coordinator. Whereas the town of Caroline, seconded by Cal.
you
Whereas the
read my
town of-
mind.
Okay, I thought I heard you say that, so. Whereas the town of Caroline pledged to be a climate smart community in 2012, designating Energy Independent Caroline as the town's climate smart communities task force. Did I say that right? Designating Energy Independent, yeah, okay. Resolution 47 of 2012, and whereas the town, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation recommends that the town board should designate a climate smart communities task force coordinator as the primary contact and director for task force actions. Therefore, be it resolved, the town board hereby appoints Mike Brown as the town's climate smart communities task force coordinator. And further be it resolved, the climate smart communities task force coordinator shall provide primary support to gather information on energy use, coordinate the greenhouse gas inventory, research existing programs or policies, and gather information on available funding sources. And Cal seconded it already. And are there any questions? Or questions for me or Mike or?
I should probably abstain, so I'm gonna abstain.
Okay.
I think he's great that he's willing to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike, so
Thank you.
much. So hearing no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you, Cal. And opposed? Abstain? One abstention, Michelle, was his mother, so. So anyway, I really appreciate your work to do this, Mike. Appreciate it. So thank you. Your willingness to do this and your work doing it. So Catherine asked about
number of housing units per lot.
residential units. So right. So the,
As I read it, it would be 4 because you could have a, you know, a multifamily dwelling on one lot, up to four, you know, residences, if you will. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
no, I mean, I have actually scratched my head on this one a little bit.
Well, it depends on the lot. I mean, it depends on what district you're in. And what is being constructed and
Mhm.
proposed. So it really depends.
Mhm.
It depends on the septic, like, so what you're building, how many bedrooms there are gonna be, whether there's room for the septic. The health department figures that out, and there's a lot of things that go into each.
I mean, every
Situation.
lot is guaranteed one residential structure plus one accessory unit.
Right.
Mhm.
In the zoning law, across the board,
Mhm.
by right. So
Yep.
then it's done after that,
So after
where,
that,
what, and when.
Right.
if they meet the requirements for water and septic, could they do an additional accessory structure? In additional to one? Could it be 2? because that's what this is saying, right?
Which one? Where are you saying this is saying?
Where you read?
What page?
Oh, 5.1B.
Okay. Can you just tell me what page?
60.
One principal dwelling and associated accessory
Mark,
structure.
I didn't want to confuse things. This was way back about the exemptions, so don't worry about it. It was in regard to the exemptions for the,
Oh,
because D, you know, currently there are 4 exempt things that in your proposal may no longer be exempt, but D is, you know,
Oh,
the
you're
number of on a rural land lot.
okay. Okay, great.
So don't worry about it. I'm sorry. I mean, I just, to clarify, it was like from 40 minutes ago.
So I found the chat really, really late is what happened. Because your question was about subdivision, I think, right?
Oh, that, yeah. okay.
Yeah, okay.
But also, we're not necessarily taking questions, right?
No, we're not.
No, but I wanted to address that,
Okay.
so I thought that was important. Okay, so moving on. We got that one. 5.2A, I think this was also just a clarification. Oh, yeah, this one, because this one caught me a few times, because the current language says the standard shall apply to all commercial and residential developments, which implies that, you know, that single family homes, but that's not what is intended. So I revised the language as development standards for the title for commercial and residential development projects in the ag rural district.
Okay.
And then the language in 5.21A1, in addition to the other information required in site plan subdivision or special use submissions, the following additional standards shall apply to all commercial and residential development projects in the ag rural district, subject to review by, subject to review board approval.
Okay,
Blah.
Good.
Okay,
Great.
okay.
so that's the revision. So that's unanimous. You good with that, Cal?
Yep.
Okay. And then 5.3 F. Oh, here it is. Okay.
Just, because we don't have a stream corridor overlay.
Yeah, this was
Right.
holdover language.
Right.
So we got rid of that. And then yeah, we didn't, this just applies to all wetlands, so
Right.
we revised the language, so no building permit for construction within a wetland shall be issued unless all necessary approvals have been obtained as follow.
Right.
So,
So my text says wetland area. Oh, located in it.
Mine
Right,
does
right,
too.
right, right, yeah, okay, never mind, sorry,
This wetland area.
but.
oh, yeah, this,
That's because it's located in the stream corridor
Right,
overlay.
you're taking
Oh,
that
okay,
out.
so take the
yeah.
area out.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
I
sorry,
okay, okay,
think you probably did.
okay.
You were typing.
Okay. 5.3G to a. Oh, this is added language that, so section 5.3G to
To
A.
and
Yeah, so just at the end of that paragraph, this is in response to the county's 239 review.
Yeah.
Just to add,
Oh,
so that people know any development proposal subject to GML 239 review will be evaluated by the county relative to the county's minimum requirements for riparian buffers of 100 feet for all perennial streams and 50 feet for all intermittent streams.
okay.
Okay, you good with that, Cal?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Section 6.
We're getting there.
Supplementary standards for non-residential and business building design. 6.1B. Oh, these were just numbering things
Changing
that I
the
noticed.
numbers, yep, thank you.
So, and I changed the capitalization to be consistent.
Yep.
Just development should be capitalized.
Mhm.
That
Okay.
first article is Article 5.
Not 6.
And then, then
Wait.
I worded it in section 6.2, blah, 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 and Article 4. But uses dimensions, so that's just picky little stuff, so
Okay.
Right, good catch.
Okay.
all good with that, yep.
So we were just off with numbers.
Right.
I presume that's okay with you, Cal, right?
Yes, yes.
Section 6.1B1, 6.1B1. Oh, the word section should be in there, very picky.
Yep,
Okay, sorry. Section 6.2.1,
E,
6.2.1E. As from a suggestion, delete and windowless,
so there should be no blank walls along any frontage.
right?
Delete windowless because it's pointed out to us that you could have a fake window.
Well, there might be reasons to not have
Right,
windows,
right,
but they can
right.
do it in other ways.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they could have doors.
Right, right, right.
So,
Okay.
Right.
Um. Six point two point seven,
and you're okay with that, right, Cal?
Yes,
okay. 6.2.7,
7, okay.
7, B1.
B1.
Yeah.
Oh,
Struck.
This is the height of the signs. You saw the note.
this is to change the height to 15
Right.
feet from 10 feet.
Yeah,
I'm certainly okay with that.
okay.
Cal?
yes, fine.
Okay, you okay with that? Okay, that's
So then-
unanimous.
And then down the road, down to G, the same section,
Okay, yeah.
the
good.
same change.
Yeah, okay, I should note that. Okay, thank you. So that's 6.2.
Okay.
7.B,
628, wait,
point.
6. Oh, it's 6.
G. 15 feet. Oh, I have it in here. Six point two eight E, 6.2.
Oh, at least, no, you, what did you change there?
Yeah,
To take out shall be provided to shall cover,
Oh, good,
Okay.
yes.
just
So
simplify.
we're not
Right,
giving them,
right,
and we're not providing it.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's.
okay,
that's
good.
What do you,
I-
I got lost here. Where are
We're
we?
just
see where
taking
we are?
out shall be provided,
We're
it's
at
just shall cover, so we're
6.28E.
taking out be provided too. This last one.
Yeah, so this is,
It could be understood in different ways.
628E. Page
Yeah.
75.
Yep.
So you take out.
Yep.
Be provided.
shall cover at least, cover
They
at least,
shall
yep,
cover.
Right,
that's right. I didn't realize that part, yeah, okay. Great, so is that unanimous? Are you good with that, Cal?
Yes,
So that's,
629A.
six.
This was a recommendation just to be consistent. Because it says.
Yeah.
Residential uses. And in another section, it says by a wall, fence, hedge, or landscape strip of trees.
Right,
So this was added in just to.
we
be
just added
consistent.
the language
Yeah.
in there. So screening from public roads and adjacent residential uses by a wall, fence, hedge, or landscape strip of trees. So, great. Unanimous?
Yes,
Great, thank you. 6.2.10. There was the proposal to delete the standard, so I put that forward and I thought it was plausible.
You mean, you mean by somebody in the public hearing?
Yes, by someone in the public hearing, correct.
Because we thought we agreed it could stay.
Pardon me?
When Tim and I went over the comments, we agreed that it could stay.
Right,
So,
but I stuck it back in there.
okay.
I'm like an annoying little widget or whatever. So anyway, so Tim and Michelle think it should stay, that
It can stay.
rooftop equipment should be. Yeah, I was just thinking, I mean,
Screen from public roads.
Pretty standard.
is it standard to
Standard
stay here?
behavior.
Okay. Okay,
Do you want to take a vote though? I don't know what Cal feels like.
oh yeah, I want to know what, does Cal have any comments?
no comment. I'll go along with it.
Okay, to keep it in?
Yes.
Okay, so. What should I do with this? I'm also gonna support that, so
I'm supporting.
I'll put a vote forward to delete this standard. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Aye. So we had to get a nay vote, right? 0. Okay. 6.2.13. Oh, this is something I just thought more direct language would just be the review board may require. I don't know why
Oh.
at its discretion is even needed.
Right,
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
that seems fine.
That's my suggestion. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that, Cal?
Yep.
Just editorial. Okay, thank you.
Exactly.
Section 7.
This is long.
Section 7,
Seven.
7.1.
What page are you on?
I'm on page 95 in my printed copy.
Yeah, there we go.
7
All right, 7.1.
Okay,
It says encourage small businesses that have positive impacts on the town. Not, where is that language?
This is,
7.1.
this is the last
Oh, it is the last bullet.
bullet.
Yeah,
Okay,
change it to something more direct.
yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. No, or minimal impact. Oh, I
Businesses
see.
that have positive
Yes, I like that.
impacts.
What about measurable?
Measurable positive or just measurable?
Measurable positive.
Then we'd have to quibble about what the measurement is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I like positive
I think
myself,
positive is good.
just,
And this was a recommendation from the public hearing.
Yeah,
so positive impacts on the town.
2.7.2.c.
There's an old adage in business that if you can't measure it, you can't manage it.
Yeah,
Change that to, all right, I've moved on to 7.2.
C10,
Yeah,
okay. So we're good with 7.1 change,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You okay with that, Cal?
Yeah.
Thanks.
This is easy because this is just replacing.
Yeah, this is just an editorial, 7
Oh,
to
okay.
C10, we need to get that changed to stream corridor overlay
mhm,
for this, so. Everybody's in favor of that, I'm sure.
Yep.
7 for
7.
A6F, 7 for A.
F, so this reads, currently, the development shall not result in a significant decrease in the quality or lifetime of the road and increase negative impacts on the safety of all users of the road. And Michelle and I recommended simplifying it to, the development shall not result in increased negative impacts on the safety of all users of the road.
Yeah,
Okay,
Partially because also any development is going to result in a decrease in the lifetime of the road.
yeah. Are you good with that, Cal?
Yes.
Unanimous. 7.6 A, whoops,
C, no, A,
what did I say?
7.6A5A. Oh,
I'm confused, all right.
I'm confused. I think I numbered it wrong. It's the traffic impact analysis one.
7.6.
6.85. There's, yeah, so there isn't an A5.
Five.
oh, I, no,
Right.
Yeah, it's 7.6A5A, so it's at the bottom of
What page?
107.
Oh.
Oh, way far away from it.
Okay.
With
Oh,
the
yeah.
additional requirements
Okay.
for site plans.
Mhm.
And A says traffic report. It should say traffic impact analysis,
Mhm.
which it says up above. So it's
Okay.
just a consistency of the wording.
Right,
So it should say traffic impact analysis, period. Traffic impact analysis shall include.
right.
Yeah.
Great, I certainly, and then I also noticed that the planning board is
Oh.
mentioned, it needs to be review board.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that'll be changed, so, okay, so for those two changes, everybody's in agreement?
yes,
Great.
Cal?
Thanks.
7.8.
7.8 C is also an editorial.
See,
Eight
any person agree?
C.
Yeah.
And then I just decided there was no reason to mention the planning board or the review board, just any person aggrieved by any decision of any officer, department, board, or viewer of the town, blah, 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 blah. So that's the edit.
Seems good.
Yeah,
Okay, that sound good, Cal?
Yes. Especially the blah, 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 blah part.
So,
7.9 C. This,
Oh, yeah.
Cal, I think this is your recommendation, as I recall.
okay,
yeah, I think it is.
7.9 C
Change it from 10 days to 30 days.
and 8.2, okay.
Maybe it was,
So that would be 7 copies of the following information to the zoning officer, at least 30 days?
Yeah,
Okay,
somebody talked to us about it.
yep,
yeah,
I think Don,
maybe it was Don.
Maybe it was not, yeah.
yeah, and then, and it's also at 8.2, there must be a reference to that. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, 30 days.
Yep, we're
And
to change the number and the word. It says 10 and 10.
Mhm. Change both. And then
Section,
this is Article 12.
Article 12 is section.
Remove and
Oh, section,
Must
yeah,
be,
you're right.
No, I can see this, it is the same as article.
what is that?
I know what, I think this is the formula business thing, but I can't.
Oh. Is it article 12?
Article 12,
I bet it is. Yeah, I think it is.
Article 12I.
Yep. It is.
Oh,
So it should be article,
Well,
oh, I see, right.
oh, right. That was John's, yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
remove and then renumber.
Yeah, remove that.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Do you agree with that one, Cal? That suggestion? Okay.
Yes,
Great. Wow. Okay, thanks.
I think that was even Cal's suggestion, wasn't it?
Don,
Pretty sure.
Don suggested it and Cal may have also.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
kind of kicked it along. Yeah.
okay. Let's see, what else? So then we already did the last thing, which is to give Nan some direction on the
Okay.
subdivision law.
Yeah.
So I have your charge there and
Did we do section 6.3? I don't see it.
All right, there was a thing you wanted eliminated.
Yeah, I think we
Uh-oh.
agreed to limit, so section 6.3,
excuse me,
Yeah,
Wait, which article?
6.
Article 6.
Article 6.3.
Oh, yeah, how did that not get in there? I thought I had that in there.
That's all right.
I must have gone over it. Okay, 6.
So Michelle, my recommendation was to take out this A, which is simply fluff. And make B A. So this whole section would be trademark architecture.
Yep.
And formula business design. A, formula architectural styles shall be allowed only when it's pursuant to blah, blah, blah.
Or would it just even not have an A since it doesn't have a B?
You're right. Doesn't
Yeah,
even
so
need
maybe
that,
it's just-
doesn't need an A.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay,
So you want to take A out?
Take
Yeah.
out
Okay,
Because it's just, goes on.
explanatory.
no,
okay.
I agreed with this suggestion, yeah.
It's really the comprehensive plan.
It's in the comprehensive
Yeah,
plan.
it doesn't need to be
Okay.
there, right, I agree.
So
So,
the word to be questioned. We could rely on the comprehensive plan to show the intent of
Mhm.
what's here. So,
Yeah.
Right.
okay,
so all in favor of that? Deletion?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
How did I remember that?
I don't know, it's maybe.
I'm really glad. I
Yeah,
thought for
amazing
sure
that-
I had it on the list because I remember that, so.
better now than the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's it. Anything else? So. So I would, so one thing I would like to do is, we've determined that with these changes, we should have a second public hearing. That will require a 10-day notice period.
Oh, I thought it was 30.
No, that's something else. That's 239 review.
Okay.
So, I would like to, make these edits to the zoning law and bring them to the next meeting on March 6th. And then we would, we will set the public hearing at that time for March 20th, for the beginning of our March 20th meeting. And that gives us 10 days notice period for that meeting. The one tweak I would like to, I just want to follow up with Nan on the subdivision law to get this language totally consistent with what she's planning to put in the subdivision law so that they are together. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I would like to propose for the public hearing is that we accept any written comments
We did that. Oh,
by 5 o'clock that day.
Yeah.
Prior to the,
I think so.
Yeah.
For the March 20th public hearing.
yes, so that we can review them in advance.
Sounds good.
I think that's good. So we'll, I think we should do the formal resolution to establish the public hearing in the next meeting.
Okay.
So that we have a document to post, to point people to at that time.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. So as soon as I have that, I'll share it with you and then,
Now, what's entailed, Mark, in the resolution to pass the zoning law?
which is just a resolution.
So it's just a standard resolution, so we don't have to have guided that or anything.
Oh, or I could, but you know, I will,
I'm just thinking of how
Don't-
complicated
Yeah,
these
it's
things
not-
have been in the past.
we've done the complicated part, which is the seeker review.
Okay.
But I will reference seeker review.
Yep.
239 review. So, I think that's it. Good. The one thing, yeah, do any of you have any other comments? Good. Okay. So with that, we still have a couple of items to tend to. So I will move on to the resolution to adopt the municipal cooperation resolution with New York State Cooperative Liquid Asset Security System, night class, which is on the second page of the agenda. Do I have a second for that?
Second,
Seconded by Tim.
since I know what it is.
Yeah, so this is just a resolution that enables me to sign on for to invest town monies in this, a municipal cooperative group that invests town monies. Several of our neighbors in Tompkins County do that. The Health Consortium invests in this instrument. And so, I do want to meet with, Kathy Seville, who contacted me and talk about this a little more, but, I wanted to put this resolution forward so that we can fill out, we need the resolution and then fill out the application form to do it, but, I just want to understand more about the distribution of assets between this and our current bank account and how we manage all that. I did forward you all the email and you can, they have a calculator on there. You can see how they perform, but right now they're yielding a 5% or something on investments, which, you know, we have a bunch of money in the bank, it should be earning well, so.
And we were able to talk with her at the Association of Towns meeting. It's really, seems like a really prudent thing for us to be doing.
So, great, okay. Any other questions about it? So. I'll let you know if I learn anything more or whatever, but follow up on that, so.
Do you know how that we'd be doing in relation to how it's been handled in the past? Would be, maybe be ahead of 1% or haven't you had any time to do that? I mean, I remember talking with them at some of the last year, I think they caught my attention. I thought it seemed like a really good, well, you know, it seemed like a good idea to be switching a portion of our funds there.
Yeah, so what, you were asking how this compares to our bank account, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, what we're getting now versus what, you know,
Yeah, so I didn't get it, I think we're getting less than 2% for our savings account.
yeah, I
and-
guess it's a lot better. 5% is a lot better than 2.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll play with our
Yeah.
our balance, and then you put it in the calculator and actually see what it looks like. I can play around with it, but I think I should do that before we move ahead.
Right.
It's, like Kathy said, you know, the way interest rates are now that, like the comptroller, when they do audits and stuff, this is an item that they'll note if they don't think you're investing your funds in a way that keeps up with the current market conditions, so, but, you know, I mean,
I think it's a good move.
yeah, I do too. mean, the fact that Dryden, Village of Trumansburg, the ones I can remember, the Health Consortium,
I think that county also, right?
and the county, Tompkins County, that's right, are all doing this. Those are respectable entities, so, yeah, so.
And we'll join the list.
Yeah, we'll join them and then maybe we'll gain some measure of respectability.
Right.
So, so with that, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Great, thank you. So, approval of the minutes of February 7th.
great job.
Great.
Thank you. Mark, what, do you want to do it for the 7th and the 13th? I still owe the 14th, but the highway, the special meeting on the 13th were completed and turned in. It's just the
Oh,
14th meeting that
The
I'm
14th?
missing.
yeah, the
public
14th
hearing. Yep.
public hearing. Say, are you the one on the 13th, was the highway meeting?
That's right.
Yeah, so yeah, that one too. So the agenda meeting on the 7th.
That was even more admirably done.
Yeah. So great. Thank you, Jesse. So we'll approve those two sets of minutes.
Great, thanks.
And then I'll offer a resolution to approve the vouchers
I'll second it.
for town bills. Great, seconded by Kate. Those amounts are A fund $43,702.11, DA fund $61,724.15, streetlight fund $470.82, and the fire district fund $87,499. So that was paying the contracts for fire protection services. So without further ado, or any questions? No? No. All in favor of paying the bills?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Great, thank you, Cal. All right. I think we're done.
Wow.
So I will make a motion to adjourn, or do it, should I? You're looking like you want to bring something up? No, no. Tim wanted to
I was
extend,
just trying to read the.
Tim wanted to extend the meeting, but I'm gonna call for adjournment.
Second it.
Second by Kate, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great. Thanks, everybody.